Hello and welcome to SolidWorks Live, where today we're going to be broadcasting to you live on YouTube, Facebook, and live.solidworks.com. We're here to talk about some pretty fun stuff we've done over the summer in regards to the 3D Experience platform. And to help me, I have two technical managers from SolidWorks, Jordan Todich and Todd Train. Welcome. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having us.
Yep, thanks.
So we've been doing a lot of stuff this summer in regards to the 3D Experience platform. A lot of fun. We had a really cool program we did, but even just as of recently, we've hosted a couple webinars. Jordan, you've actually run one of these webinars in regards to some of the great sub-D tools in SolidWorks on the 3D Experience platform.
Yeah. Literally last week we just had that webinar. It was a lot of fun. It's always fun launching brand new products, but especially this one because I personally love SolidWorks surface modeling. That's kind of what I'm known for on the team. But whether you love it or whether you think it's pretty complicated, you're maybe a little intimidated by it, maybe like my friend Todd over here.
Come on, Jordan.
It doesn't matter because this tool makes modeling very complex shapes super simple. And not only that, if you go and watch that webinar, which I think we're going to be posting the link to shortly down below, probably by the end of that 30-minute session, you'll be able to sit down and use the software pretty efficiently. It's that intuitive.
Great. One bit of housekeeping before we get too much further. Anybody watching at home, if you have any questions about anything we're going to cover here today, make sure you post those questions on whatever platform you're watching us. We'll try to cover what ones we can, if they make sense throughout, or save them through to the end. So,
Cool.
So yeah, you did that. But Todd, what about you? I mean, you've been working at SolidWorks for a really long time. You've had a lot of exposure to the 3D Experience platform, probably more than most technical folks, right?
Yeah, I actually got started with the platform, I don't know, 6, maybe almost 7 years ago. Really have seen it flourish and grow in the last 6 years or so. The platform especially, but probably more so our team and really understanding how it fits. So, originally we came out with some platform tools. We really focused on the CAD tools themselves, sketching, extruding, what are the nitty-gritty CAD tools. And what we've really come to learn over the last year and a half, that it's really a lot more than that. It's the collaboration tools that are involved in the platform, as well as, doing online data management, things like that. As a matter of fact, one of my colleagues, Andrew Gross, recently did a webinar about a month ago. Again, we'll be posting that URL here in a moment. But he focused on one of our customers, Bowhead, who does full mobility devices for outdoor all-terrain type vehicles for people with disabilities, which is
Pretty much like off-road wheelchairs.
right. Yeah, exactly.
Very
Which
cool.
is a really cool story. But the whole story is focused around that company and how they could utilize all of the different aspects of the platform to really collaborate within the organization, not just engineering tools per se.
Yeah, I mean, it's so much more than CAD. A lot of his webinar
Right.
discusses, how to collaborate with the different stakeholders in your organization, how to share that data, and have a single source of truth, basically, when it comes to that data, which is all important. I mean, this is a great story, but I got to ask the question: how'd you get to this point where you decided, well, we're going to tell this whole story, how a whole company and organization are going to use these tools?
Yeah, well, that's a great question. To find that proper perspective, we go back earlier to the summer when we did internal challenge. This was way different than anything we've done in the past. What we did was we had technical managers like us from across the Americas, and we formed 6 teams. I think it was about like 8 people on each team. And the challenge was to produce a product pitch and design that product and then pitch that product to our peers
Just
as a competition.
Pretty much from scratch.
Yeah, pretty
Yeah.
much from scratch. And by peers, let me let me clarify. Not really peers. They were the CEO of our company, some VPs on that judge panel. So the stakes were high, and we put a lot of work into it.
Definitely high pressure.
And I mean, this was a fun project at the end of the day, really getting the opportunity to show how to use, or for us to learn some of the tools we might not have used. But I mean, at the end of the day, a lot of us have used a lot of apps on the 3D Experience platform. So, I mean, why go through this exercise?
Well, I think you said it right. A lot of us have used a lot of the apps on the platform. I don't think any one of us used all of the apps on the platform or really understand how they all collectively work together. For instance, Jordan might spend all his time on the sub-D tools, and I might spend some more time on the prismatic type tools, the extrudes and fillets and things like that. So really the goal was to expose the team to all the other apps that we probably haven't spent much time with, maybe played with a little bit, but really get a much deeper understanding of them.
And to do so in a team environment, really. All of us have the privilege of, before we started working here at SOLIDWORKS, we were working out in the industry, and we were using SOLIDWORKS in a real-world environment. Well, now that we've been here for a while, and since the 3D Experience platform has come to be, we haven't had that opportunity. So this process put us in the shoes of the customer and forced us to work as a team launching a product as we would have in the industry.
Yep.
Yeah, and not just as a team of design engineers. We had to think about the rest of the organization. You have the people doing the project planning, all the way down through manufacturing, purchasing. These are all different roles within inside of an organization that could definitely benefit from the platform.
Yep.
So, I mean, how did you go about structuring this?
Well, basically, each team member was assigned a persona. Ultimately, at the end, we picked up different personas and ran with those personas and pretended to be the planning or the project manager or the design engineer, if you will. So we kind of split that amongst the 8 different members on our teams.
So, I mean, you have 8 different members. They're going to take on these different roles. How'd this start, Todd? You start with a conference call with everybody?
Well, we tried, actually. And our team was split throughout North America and South America with differing time zones and, of course, different schedules we had to deal with. So it wasn't more than a day or two before we realized doing a conference call we're not going to get this done on time. So we ended up actually creating what we call a community on the platform. And within the community, a private community, just for our team, you can create blog posts. And the very first blog post that we created, actually our team leader did, was really asking each one of us what you bring to the table. What's your background? What's your previous experience? And really after that, all the roles just sort of fell out naturally. We had somebody that had project management experience, so they became, the project manager. Design engineer. We had an electrical engineer. It all just kind of fell into place like that, really.
So even before you started thinking about and designing a product on the platform, you guys were already using it as a tool to start to determine how you were going to tackle this project right from the beginning.
Right. I mean, we considered email, of course, like everybody else would, copy 9 different people and get responses and try to collate all that information. But, the comments in the communities just really had it all there in one place, and it made sense. It just was really easy to look at compared to digging through all those emails.
Yeah. So Jordan, I'm guessing you guys tackled this in a very constructed, similar approach?
Not at all.
It's Jordan we're talking about.
Well, I was the leader of our team, so it wasn't nearly as organized. You could say we kind of started off kind of like an anarchy. But what we did is we just jumped right into the community like you did, but started posting ideas. Task number 1 was, what are we actually going to design? What's going to be our product? So we started posting those. The cool thing about the community is you can identify or categorize certain posts as ideas. So people will start to give them a thumbs up and like them and vote for them. And you can visualize those ideas go through an idea funnel. And naturally, the cream rises to the top, and we were able to determine, what product we're going to start designing.
And you voted once for your idea, I'm sure, just one time, right?
I promise I didn't create secret, fake accounts and vote mine up.
It's interesting. Our team did something somewhat similar. We used polls, which are a different type of post that you can use within a community. In fact, throughout the entire process, we were very democratic. Like each feature that went into our project, we voted on everything that we were going to do there.
Well, good job at being so organized, guys.
So we've talked a little bit about how we sort of organized our teams. We were all involved, if we haven't mentioned that. I think, why don't we take a few minutes and talk a little bit about what these projects were before we kind of dive into how we went through the ideation or the design process with these. And Todd,
Yep.
I think when I look at the 6 different teams, your project was very practical for people in our roles who have to create digital content.
Yeah, absolutely. That's one of the things we identified, again, using the community and voting on different ideas we had was one of the biggest challenges we have, especially remote folks that are either working, in offices that don't have a studio or home offices, or even on the road in a hotel room, is setting up lighting to do these videos. So what we came up with was a self-adjusting LED light for being able to do videos. I mean, this even falls into the realm of, maybe amateur YouTubers. And what you're actually seeing on the screen is an augmented reality version of this. We didn't prototype anything.
That's not a physical product.
That is not a physical product, and I think that helped win us with the judges. We'll talk about that later. but it really helped be able to visualize that product. And again, using the 3D Experience platform and having those designs in 3D as soon as possible allowed us and really empowered us to be able to take advantage of those tools.
So I gotta admit, it was a pretty cool product, but pretty niche market, right?
Well,
Jeremy, your team had something that was much more of a broad audience, especially now in the summer.
Yeah, I mean, everyone in the summer, you're sitting around having an ice cold soda. Right? Yeah,
Sparkling water.
Yeah, you want to listen to the radio. So we decided to create a smart koozie, a smart device that could both keep your beverage nice and cool, had Bluetooth connectivity to your mobile device so that you could listen to your music on it, and even a little bit of smart intelligence in there to monitor the temperature of your soda in case you needed to go get a refill or finish it a little bit faster.
Drink it a little bit faster, right?
Yeah.
Right. Oops, getting warm. Better finish it.
Yeah.
That's a pretty awesome idea, actually. That is really cool, but I gotta admit, I'm really interested in you to tell the audience what you came up with, Jordan.
If I must. So our team, we took the parameter of designing everything on the 3D Experience platform to a whole new level. We actually use the 3D Experience platform's logo, the compass, as inspiration for our product itself. So what we did is we made the compass into a smart compass device. You could strap it to your belt buckle. It could project a laser onto the ground of an arrow directing you to your next destination. Put it on the top of your bike. Put it on your car dashboard.
Kinda like a heads-up display, but for regular people walking down the street, I guess.
Exactly.
Yeah. So this isn't corporate branding on screen.
No,
this
this
is
is
actually
our
your digital smart compass.
Very creative.
Well, this sounds like a lot of fun. But let's take a step back and let's talk about the process we had to go through to actually design these projects. So we all had these great ideas, but Todd, tell us, how did you start executing on this? How did you get going on the design of your light?
The very first thing we needed to recognize is that we had a deadline, right? We all have deadlines in our projects. So we had a 3 or 4 week deadline, I think it was, which is pretty tight, without even having a single idea on the table. So we actually used a project planning app that's built inside of the platform, and it allows you to set things like milestones. And of course, the first milestone you want to put in there is the project finish date. We worked backwards from there, different milestones that needed to be addressed. And then from there, we started assigning tasks to the different team members, or I should say the project manager did. They were assigning tasks that were related to the milestones, and within those tasks, you can do a lot of things. Obviously, set deadlines for the specific task. You could set kind of parent-child relationships. This task has to occur before this other task.
And I love how dynamic the whole experience of using this product is. You assign it to a specific person. If that person completes his or her task early, the rest of the timeline shifts forward dynamically, so you could get started on the next task.
Or if somebody got a little bit ahead on a project, maybe I could use some of that extra time for myself.
Yeah. Throw in a rest task in there.
Yeah.
But the app is so cool that we use it internally to schedule our activities, our engagements, and things like that.
Yeah, our team does too. Michael's a guy on our team. He's great, loves it, is constantly setting things up.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yep.
So we looked at planning a project. Everyone pretty much had a project leader. What was interesting about this and what I found really valuable is this started right as Jen Dirksen on our team. She left for Rwanda to do a SOLIDWORKS training course out there. Halfway around the world. But what was great is because this was all in the cloud, she was able to still keep our project moving forward, did all the planning, set up all the tasks. We never missed a beat. So that was really.
She's a stickler for deadlines. We know Jen.
Yes, she is.
Funny, I had a similar experience, except I was getting tasks assigned to myself. Happened to be traveling in Mexico, but I was able to actually keep up with the project planning, see what tasks were being assigned to me through notifications, be able to complete my tasks, and continue to participate even though I was down in Mexico, which was really, really helpful.
Yeah, it's a great collaboration tool. So we've talked a little bit about, planning the project, but a fundamental part of that is assigning tasks. And I'm guessing every one of us being involved on a team had some tasks assigned to us. Jordan, what was like the first task you had to do?
Well, I was a leader, so I assigned myself the tasks that I wanted to do. I like to sketch, I like to draw, so the very first thing that I assigned myself was coming up with a concept sketch. And but the cool thing about that is I just posted it in a community. The entire team was able to comment on it, give some feedback. And I love that aspect of it. You can just watch right before you the evolution of the product, and it stays there and organized and as a history of how this product came to be. So that's really convenient too. A lot better than shooting a bunch of emails back and forth.
Yeah, for sure. Like you said, everything's there. So concepts are a great way to start a design. Todd, did you start the same way?
Oh, our team did. I didn't. I can barely draw a stick figure, to be honest with you. So one of our other artistic team members was able to come up with a nice concept sketch. Sent the concept sketch over to myself, and then I used the same sub-D tools that Jordan was talking about. It is easy to use.
I told you it was easy.
And I was able to come up with a really cool shape, but more importantly, I posted it in the community. And the benefit of that is it's not just a screenshot of one angle or 15 screenshots. The members of the community can actually rotate the model, view it from all different angles. They actually put 3D markups on there, provide feedback and comments. And if you actually dug into our community, you'll see that within 2 hours, we went from my very first concept to, I wouldn't say a completed design, but well on our way just by that back and forth. And being, again, that I was in Mexico completing that task, it just made it that much easier than trying to, all right, let's have a conference call and talk about it.
Right.
So it was really, really awesome.
One of the things I find really interesting on the clip showing your feed, we saw that you had a 3D model, then you had comments, you had another 3D model,
Yep.
some comments. So not only is it, in a conference call, you can't just quickly model things up that easy. You were able to react almost real time to these types of
even
things.
web meetings are challenging when you're that far apart.
Right.
I mean, imagine if you had to do a web meeting with Jen in Rwanda. I mean, bandwidth issues. You post it up, you don't have to really be concerned with that.
And sometimes you need instant feedback. JP on our team, he did a lot of the CAD work. Kudos to him. And he posted a lot of posts into our community, but when he needed questions answered, he'd use conversations. It's like a built-in messenger right inside of the platform.
Yeah.
And he could group chat us, or he could send me a message directly, because he loved this project. He did a great job on that. So he was constantly looking for instant feedback as well.
So you finally canceled your AOL Instant Messenger.
Yeah. I don't need that anymore.
For sure.
Awesome.
We use that all the time. We use it on the project. We use it internally as well. But ultimately, it came to a point where everyone actually had to pitch their products, right, in front of that kind of intimidating judge panel. So when that happened, we used the 3DEXPERIENCE platform to make the pitch, and the judges used the platform to rate and vote for the best teams. So that was a fun experience as well.
And I'm sure the best team rose to the top, right?
Maybe.
I would say they did.
We actually, I think we have the results actually from the judging.
No, you don't have to post those.
Yeah, why don't we take a look at these results here?
I don't think all the votes are in yet.
This was real time. This was done on the platform.
And this was a couple months ago, I think.
Yeah. Now, Todd, the interesting thing is this was done not based on just the product, right?
Right, absolutely. It was 3 different aspects that we were really trying to talk about. And it's the product, of course, that we come up with. Is it interesting? Is it viable? How good was the presentation? And ultimately, how well did we utilize the platform in it, right?
But that presentation aspect, specifically if you look at like the third team's green bar, that I would rate that a lot more important than the rest.
No. The first criteria was use of the platform. And if you look at Team 2, Wicked Designs,
all right, guys, come on. It was equal weighting, 33.3333% per goal. So ultimately, Team 5 won. Kudos to Toby Schnars, who led that team and and the rest of the team as well, of course.
No, I'll say congratulations, and it was great seeing all the other designs. We didn't get to show all 6 of those here today, and this was a really fun project. But let's be honest, this project took an investment of time,
Yes.
and there was a serious reason behind this. We didn't do this just for the fun of doing it, though it was a fun project. Tell us why this was important.
It was a huge investment of time, and it was super valuable. Again, the entire intention from the beginning was putting ourselves in the shoes of a customer, right? So it's about experiencing the entire product design process from beginning to end on the 3D Experience platform as it was designed to be used. So that was awesome, and I cherished it.
Yeah, and ultimately, it doesn't stop there, right? So we had some great knowledge development internally, but that's not quite good enough, right?
Yeah.
What we needed to do was develop some curriculum. We needed to disseminate everything that we learned down to our reseller channel. But ultimately, they're the ones that are going to support and train our future customers on the platform. So we were able to collate all this information, come up with these best practices, which we actually rolled out to them in the last month and a half, worldwide,
Yep.
mind you, with all of our resellers. So all of our resellers are up and running and ready to go.
Yeah, our customers have an expectation for the last 25
Yep.
years, top-notch technical support and support through the implementation and all that. And we're not going to drop the ball there. We're preparing our team for that moment, and they're ready to go.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, it fundamentally goes to what you said. The customer wants to know that they have a single source of that they can go to get the best support possible, and this ultimately leads into that. So, speaking of the resellers, I wanted to bring on Devin Malone to discuss a little bit about the strategy with the resellers and why 3D Experience, why now. Devin, welcome. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me, Jeremy.
Why don't you tell us a little bit about your role here at Dassault Systems and what you've been doing?
Certainly. So I am part of a team whose primary purpose, or really our sole purpose, is to support our partners as they begin to transform themselves to have the skill set to extend the value of our entire DS portfolio to the traditional SOLIDWORKS customer base.
So for our SOLIDWORKS customers who might not know, what are we talking about when we're talking about the entire portfolio?
So Dassault Systems, as most people would know, is over 17,000 people. Most or a large portion of those are involved in product R&D. In fact, at its core, Dassault is really an R&D company. And so what we're trying to do is to help support their efforts as they acquire, develop, and integrate all different types of groundbreaking technology. And we kind of take the pieces of that technology that we feel will best serve our customer base and get our partners prepared to integrate that into their solutions to their customers.
Yeah, so this isn't just everything free for all. You've been kind of going through and we've been selectively building a set of tools that are going to best serve their customers, right?
Yeah, there's so much more to Dassault. There's the Simulia brand, there's the Innovia brand, and being able to take the different types of their pieces of technology to extend the value above and beyond what we have traditionally allowed our partners or supported our partners in is our undertaking, and it's a very exciting transformation that we've begun.
So tell us a little bit about what are some of the tools that our customers can look forward to seeing that we're specifically working on?
So as you know, the increasing rate of adoption of cloud-based technology is overtaking our entire customer base. There are hundreds of thousands of SOLIDWORKS customers, millions of users worldwide, covering all sorts of different industries and verticals and so forth. And they all have their own varied desired pace of cloud adoption. You might have a particular traditional desktop customer that has a couple dozen SOLIDWORKS licenses that are beginning to look at the cost value benefit of storing data and accessing data up into the cloud. On the other end of the spectrum, you might have a cutting edge startup kind of company that might have an edict from senior management to use nothing but cloud-based technologies, applications, and data management. So we want to be able to present our partners with a solution set that can handle all those different types of hybrid situations from one end of the spectrum to the other.
So no matter where you fall, whether it was new or existing, we have a solution for you.
Yeah, it's allowing our customer base to pick their pace of adoption. And at the end of the day, the promise of the 3D Experience platform is to allow a fully immersed collaborative environment where the user can interconnect all the different players in the development lifecycle, from the initial development and collection of specs, specifications, and definitions, all the way to customer product delivery and field maintenance. So allowing them to immerse themselves in an entire 3D experience so that they can bring far greater value, really, to their respective customer bases.
Really, at the end of the day, I think what it comes down, you know, what you just said, Todd has talked about it, we're so much more than just CAD, right? There's so many more tools that we have to unlock the potential for our customers.
Yes, the age of the experience.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Devin, I want to thank you for coming out here, kind of letting us know where we're going. I want to, Todd and Jordan, I want to thank both of you for joining us here today.
Thanks for having us.
Before we wrap up, we do have a question from YouTube. It says, does SolidWorks have their own platform for project management? And one of the things, Todd, I'll let you elaborate. Both of you really like these tools, right?
Sure. Well, yeah, absolutely. We do have a project planning tool built on the platform. Again, if you plug SolidWorks Desktop into the platform, it basically flows right into the project management tool, where you can basically work inter seamlessly between the two products.
Yeah, it's a really easy to use tool to both implement and use it. It ties right in with SolidWorks Desktop or any of the platform design tools you might use.
The big thing about the platform is when we use the word implement, it's turnkey.
Yeah.
And that's the whole benefit of this cloud 3D experience platform that we're proposing, is you don't have to get, 4 months of implementation costs, and you don't have to buy new servers. You don't have to hire additional IT personnel. You sign up on the platform, and those tools are available for you.
Yeah, it's simple.
Small learning curve, and you're up and running.
So I'd suggest anybody at home who wants to learn more about this, I think they're going to show the URL at the bottom, but you can go to solidworks.com/3DEXperience to learn about all the great tools that we have available on the 3D Experience platform. With that, we're going to go ahead and we've talked about 3D Experience today, but coming up very shortly, leading out of summer into fall on September 18th, we have another SolidWorks Live event coming to you, What's New in SolidWorks 2020. This is where we're going to cover all the great features that are coming for the SolidWorks portfolio. These include things like SolidWorks Desktop, simulation products, data management tools, you name it. So there's going to be tons of great content that day. So if you're not, subscribe to us on YouTube and like us on Facebook, and don't forget to choose to be notified when these live events go on. And with that, again, I want to thank everybody for joining me here today, and thanks for tuning in.